Hey guys, Credible Crypto here. Wanted to make a YouTube video update on the Elliott wave count for what we're seeing right now, a detailed Elliott wave count of what we're seeing right now and what I'm expecting to happen in the coming months to years. Basically, I want to show you guys what I'm expecting to happen in the next 6 months to a year. I know everyone's really excited right now because we're getting some massive moves to the upside, and I think it's fine to be excited here. But I do want to show you guys that this process of starting this next bull market is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that's going to happen in a few weeks. It's not something that's going to happen in a few months. It's going to take a long period of time for this to happen, and it's going to take still a long period of time for us to retest our old highs and then continue higher, even though we're off to a great start, guys. It's going to take a significant amount of time, and I want to take this video to explain to you guys why I'm saying that and what type of a time frame we're looking at here before we can even think about testing new highs. The good news is that I do think that the bottom of the bear market is in, and I think that in the coming 6 months to a year, we're going to have lots of time to accumulate more before the next official massive move to the upside starts. This technically, I believe, is the start of a new bull cycle. I just think that there's going to be a rather long period of time of accumulation still within this bull cycle before we start making massive moves back to prior highs. So I'm going to talk about the detailed Elliott wave count here, what I'm expecting to occur in the next few months, and then what I expect to happen after that. So here's Bitcoin, guys, and this is what we're going to focus on right now. And the major premise that I have here is that we've started the first wave of 5 of the next bull cycle, the first major wave of 5 of the next bull cycle off of these lows. And this initial 5 waves could be the first subwave of those 5 waves, depending on how massive this next cycle is. But the point is that I'm expecting a 5-wave impulsive move to the upside here off of our lows, which I believe to be the bottom of the bear market at 31.35. So here's how I'm counting it, guys. We have our initial first wave. We have our second wave correction. We're currently working on our larger third wave. After that, we should get a 4th wave retracement before our 5th and final wave of this first wave of the new bull market. All right, guys. As you can see here, the first wave on its own didn't take too much time. However, the second wave took about 2 months to complete, and we're still working on our third wave. And the third wave is about 2.5 months into this third wave, right? So we do have, as you can see, we do have a lot of time elapsing in between these waves. And this is why it's going to take a fairly long amount of time, in my opinion, for us to retest 20K and proceed higher. But let's talk about the wave count here, guys. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. I do believe our third is going to end at about 5,800. Currently, the subwave count of this third, we have a first wave, a second wave. I believe our third wave completed right there. We're getting our 4th wave retracement, and we're going to get our 5th wave right there. Let me change the color here. And let's go with 1 degree lower. All right, so first wave count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Second wave correction was a 3-wave move. Then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sort of like a leading diagonal here for our first wave. Again, a 3-wave move, sort of identical to this one, but just on a smaller scale right here for this sub-wave correction. 1, 2, then we have our third wave, and then we have our 4th, which, as you guys know, if you've been watching my prior videos, I believe to be a flat correction forming here. It could be complete. It could still have a little bit more room to go, but that's our 4th, and then I'm expecting one more push up for our 5th, up to this 5,800 level. Notice, guys, this was our initial supply zone. We pretty much tested it here. Fell a little bit short, actually, like $30, $40 short, but I consider that a valid test of this supply level, and I do think that on our next push-up we'll break through it. However, we're going to hit this massive resistance here at 5,800, which is this level of resistance. As you guys know, it's that level that we kind of hung around for about 6 months before eventually breaking through. So I do think that we'll initially reject at this level, and that will complete our third wave before we retrace for our 4th, okay? Now this 4th wave retracement shouldn't be super deep. It could be quite deep. It could go down to our key level here, which I've been waiting for a retest for a while. It's very possible that it does. It's just not guaranteed. But what should follow after that is one last massive push to the upside that I do believe will end somewhere within this red zone here, all right? Now, depending on how this 5th wave plays out, it could very well extend, and that would have us break above the 6K level, but I have a feeling we're not quite going to get there yet. I do think that will cap out for this wave somewhere between 5,800 to 6,500 before correcting down for our major wave 2, all right? So this is what I'm looking at in terms of an Elliott wave count for the next push up, all right? Now keep in mind, based on what we're seeing here, this this move could potentially last all the way till June or July, possibly longer, right? Now we know that the second wave lasted about 2.5 months, from December to January, February 11th, so about 2.5 months, I would say. And we know that based on the rule of alternation, our fourth wave could potentially last much longer than that before we move up for our fifth wave. Now, it's this period of consolidation in which I think we'll see many alts pop off like crazy. As you guys know, I'm long on a lot of alts, and I think they're very much primed to make massive moves. And we need to see Bitcoin move sideways for that to happen. So I think we will get a long, drawn-out wave 4 here in order to let many alts pop off. And that wave 4 could take twice as much time as this wave 2. It could take longer. So, I mean, it could even be shorter, but I have a feeling it's going to take a little bit longer here. So if this was 2 months, this wave 4 could take anywhere from 3 to 4 months. May, June, July, August. It could take that period of time, and then we could move up for our fifth wave, which again, like I said, could extend and go a lot higher, or it could just stop here at the 6,500 level. So basically, guys, this entire first wave could last until the third quarter of this year, the third or fourth quarter of this year, and then after that is when we're going to get a fairly large correction, guys. This is going to be a massive correction, and it's this correction that I believe can literally drag on for 6 months to a year even, and this will be essentially our period of accumulation. It'll likely be something more complex is what I'm thinking. So let's go with this sort of a WXY, something like this, guys. It's going to be long, it's going to be drawn out, and it's going to be sideways in my opinion. And I don't know how low it's going to go yet. I do think if we never test this level, then this is a good target to look for. But the bottom line is that this is going to be a long and boring correction, essentially a period of accumulation for the larger players. We've seen this pattern play out on many other coins. Let us quickly go to the Bitcoin Cash chart as an example. But essentially, guys, this sort of a long, drawn-out move. Now, this is Bitcoin Cash, and I believe it's already completed its first wave. This was a second, third, fourth, and fifth. This is the type of move I'm expecting to see on Bitcoin, guys. Imagine this being our first wave, and then this being the correction that follows, right? The first wave in this case took a month or so, and the correction that followed took 10 times as long as that, right? I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen for Bitcoin, but I am saying that it's something that you have to consider and we have to keep in mind, okay? So a very drawn-out correction that pretty much could last, guys, into the 29 into 2020s, into 2021 even. 2022 even. Basically, I'm trying to say that it's going to take a while, guys. We're not just going to go to 20K after breaking above 6,000 or rejecting off of it initially. But the point is, like I said, I've been saying for a while, I think we'll see 6K before 4.2K, and I maintain that we may not get as high as 6.5, or we may burst above it, but I think we'll at least see 6K before we see 4.2K, and then I think we're going to see a very long, drawn-out wave 2 correction. Right now, in the grand scheme of things, guys, if we zoom out, remember this is going to be, I mean, this is going to be massive when it does play out. But in the grand scheme of things, this is just our second wave before a massive third wave. All right, and then a fourth wave, and then a fifth wave. All right, the larger first wave of a massive 5-wave move. All right, and that massive 5-wave move could take us much higher than anticipated. All right, so I'll say this is 20,000, not 200,000. Again, let me zoom out some more. All right, so many possibilities here. We could then correct for our second wave, then go up for our third. Let me go to a log scale to make this easier to chart. Go up for our third, then get our fourth, then get our fifth. Right? Basically, what I'm trying to say is this is likely just the very, very, very beginning of the next major bull cycle, and it could take a rather long period of time for this to play out. Right? Once we do make this correction here and we complete this wave 2, which will be, like I said, I think long and drawn out and an excellent time for everyone who hasn't yet picked up any Bitcoin to accumulate, the next major move up will set fireworks off, and that's when we'll really start going up here. So this is just a quick little video, guys, of what I'm expecting here and why I think it's good to be excited right now, but keep in mind that it's likely going to take another long amount of time before we actually proceed to retest our all-time highs at 20,000. Now, this isn't guaranteed. This could be a lot shorter, but I just want you guys to realize that it's a very real possibility. So even though I'm very bullish right now, I think it's important to keep in mind where we're at in this cycle, and that is that we're at the very beginning of it. And if this cycle is going to be as massive as I believe it will be, we really haven't spent much time down here for accumulation to occur and for larger players to accumulate. If we're expecting to go from 20,000 to 200,000 in the next bull cycle, you can bet that this isn't the amount of accumulation, and this isn't enough time for that amount of accumulation for something that massive to proceed from where we are now. So just like in prior years how we had massive amounts of accumulation, I'm expecting that to occur here. That being said, I think the bear market is over, and I think that this massive period of accumulation will occur as a wave 2 after our first primary wave of the new bull cycle. So I do think we are in a new bull cycle, but I also think that we're going to have a period of accumulation before we really get ramped up. So I just want to make that quick YouTube video about this, guys, so you guys can get an idea of where my head's at, and also to talk about what I'm expecting here in the coming weeks and months. As you guys know, I do think that we're either done with this wave 4 or we have a little bit of more room to go. But really, even if I'm shorting the markets, guys, I am definitely bullish till 6K at the minimum right now. So if I am taking short positions, it's just an intraday or intra-week swing position. It's not that I think we're going to be crashing anytime soon. And I think there's no reason to be super bearish right now and think that we're going to be crashing anytime soon. Based on everything that I'm seeing, we have 6K in front of us. Now, there is one argument that can be made for a crash soon, and one argument that can be made, only one argument that can be made, in my opinion, to claim that we haven't seen the bear market bottom, and that is that instead of this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we actually just have a 1, 2, 3. In other words, a corrective structure to the upside here, rather than a start of an impulse move. Regardless, we're short. We're missing one wave to complete this third wave. So if this is a corrective structure, for example, it would be an ABC. For that C to complete, we need 5 waves, and we only have 3 thus far. So I do think that regardless, we're going to see one more move up to at least 5,800. And then in the only bearish scenario I can possibly see, this correction would end up being a lot stronger, and we'd end up plummeting down to new lows, which I don't think is going to happen, but I'm just throwing it out there. That's the only way I see us not having reached the bottom of the bear market at this point in time. Other than that, guys, that's all I have for this update. It was more of a broad general market update. So bullish on alts, many alts, and I think many alts have lots of room to run. Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, these things I think are going to explode in the coming weeks to months. And I think that we're going to see a massive move to the upside for many of them. So I'm definitely long on lots of them, and I definitely am not concerned about short-term downside because I think it's simply a buying opportunity. I think that alts are all looking very good right now. But yeah, that's all I have for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video and if you think that this analysis makes sense, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out and try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, thanks, guys.